In a world full of problems, I dare you to be a problem solver. This is the ultimate problem solver. I'm Sharon. Let's do this. In this episode, we will talk about why you delay when it comes to decision making, what actually happens in your brain when you overthink, the real cost of slow decision making as a leader, and finally, and probably most importantly, how to start thinking faster, practically. Let's go. Let's start with a question. What really separates great leaders from everybody else? I know you're inclined to say it's intelligence, the grades they got at Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford. MIT? No. What separates great leaders from everybody else, the average Joe on the street, is what I like to call decision velocity. Quick decision making is one of the most visible markers for effective leadership. And yet, most people struggle to decide. They drown in overanalysis, overthinking, and decision paralysis. So personally, what I've learned from sitting in boardrooms, being an executive director, leading departments at multi-million corporations, and studying the world's best thinkers is two main things. Number one, you don't need more time to make better decisions. And number two, you just need better systems of thinking. Systems, again. Systems make everything better, simpler. Not necessarily easier, but certainly simpler. It makes it simpler. It makes your thinking simpler. It makes your life simpler. It makes your business simpler. It makes global governance simpler. So when it comes down to it, really, when you are trying to solve a problem, most times your go-to is a system analysis. So you don't need more time to make better decisions. You probably just need a better system for how you think. So I'm going to give that to you in this video. In the book, Thinking Fast and Slow, the author, Daniel Kahneman, says there are two main types of systems. Number one, slow, deliberate, and logical. Number two, fast, intuitive, instinctive. It is important for you to know when you need to implement system number one, fast, instinctive, intuitive. So why do you delay? So Daniel says that your brain has two modes, right? Two systems of thought. Fast thinking and slow thinking. And both are essential. Today, I'm teaching you how to think faster. System number one, this system. The fast thinking system, it's automatic, it's intuitive. It helps you read the room the moment you walk in. It helps you hit the brakes when a car cuts you off. And it's the same system that helps you finish a person's sentence. System number two, the slow thinking system. It's deliberate, it is analytical, and it is logical. It's the voice you use to calculate risk, analyze and strategize. Certainly me. I work in a field of risk calculation, strategy, analysis. That's the world of GRC. That's the world of governance, risk, and compliance. That's my world. That voice comes in handy for me a lot of the time. It's also accurate, but it's exhausting. Most professionals actually get stuck in systems number two. We have this internal confusion between overthinking and excellence. In fact, we start to equate overthinking to excellence. Overthinking, however, does not equal excellence. How do you know if this is you? Have you ever heard yourself say things like, "Let me gather more data," or "Let's have one more meeting about it"? That's you subconsciously delaying. That's you overthinking. Because most times you don't really need more data. Most times you can kick it off and gather data as you go along and move and gather more information whilst moving and gathering more information. Do you see what I mean? Daniel Kahneman, in his book Thinking Fast and Slow, made a very interesting observation for me, especially as a law student and a lover of the law. He says that even judges can sometimes make harsher rulings later in the day just because their energy is depleted and they're exhausted. Can you imagine that? There's a name for that. It's called decision fatigue. Your brain runs on a cognitive fuel and you can get depleted easily if you don't have a what? We're back to my favorite word, system. So let me help you with this statement. When you catch yourself hesitating, it's not that you lack clarity. Most times, it's not that you lack clarity. It's because your mental bandwidth is overloaded. My mental bandwidth is overloaded. As a leader, be that in the corporate world or a leader of just yourself, because you are a leader of yourself, that's very dangerous, because when you overthink, when you slow down to analyze, opportunities are expiring. We'll take that practically when you have seen an amazing opportunity to apply for a job, perhaps, volunteer for an amazing opportunity, apply for a grant. And then instead of executing, you go into this overthinking spiral. Will I really get it if I apply? Do I qualify? Should I even bother? What do I need to put in the application? What if my application isn't good enough? And when you spend that time overthinking instead of just executing, what happens to that opportunity? Yes, it expires. So, overthinking equals delay. Delay equals expired opportunities. Don't forget it. And that brings me to the cost of delay. Number one, delay will cost you time. In 2020, McKinsey put out a CEO excellence survey, and it found that leaders who made quick decisions with even only 75% of the data achieved 12 times better performance outcomes. 75% of data, 12 times better outcomes. Why? Because clarity compounds. You don't get all the clarity you need in life at the start of any project. You don't have full understanding at any one given time, especially at the inception of anything. Is it your current job? Do you remember your first day? And you were really trying to grasp, what exactly does this role entail? Now, if you had just stood there and paused and not moved forward and started something at least, and then wait for your clarity to compound as you move forward, you wouldn't still have this job. Your clarity compounded over time, did it not? Good. Number two, it costs you your credibility. I'll give you my personal example. When you're sitting in a boardroom, hesitation tends to look like confusion, and you might think nobody else notices. They do. They notice. You look like you're confused about the topic. You look like you are confused about a decision. And I found that the appearance of indecision destroys trust faster than making a decision itself. Your trust, your credibility is far too important for you to present yourself as someone who is confused or indecisive or just can't make a decision. That is not a characteristic that anybody is looking for in a leader. Number three, it costs you energy. And now the overthinkers come to the front because I know you can relate. Overthinking takes a lot of energy. Every single delayed decision is like an open tab in your brain's computer. Imagine your computer right now. The 20 open tabs. That's exactly what your brain looks like when you delay to make a decision on this and you go to something else, and then you meet a decision you need to make in the other thing, and then you delay that and you go to the next thing. It's just opened tabs. It is taking your energy. It drains your focus and it drains your willpower. That's why after a day of just thinking, you feel physically exhausted. Almost as physically exhausted as someone who had to physically exert themselves all day. Have you ever wondered why that is? Because thinking, which is just mental running, drains your body like you've been physically running. So, Delayed decisions is costing you your energy. Number 4, and finally, it costs you learning. One thing I found as I've led teams over the last 10 years is that fast decision making accelerates feedback loops. So if you have a project on your table and you make a quick decision about it, you get a quick feedback about it. And when you get a quick feedback on it, you can improve it faster. So when you delay in making decisions or you delay in moving forward, you delay feedback that can improve that particular project or that particular decision. Do you see what I mean? It's cyclical. You make a decision, you get a feedback, you improve your decision, you make another decision, you get another feedback, and the quicker you move, the quicker the feedback comes, the quicker you get better. Now, what happens when you delay? It's very much like executing on, a media strategy, especially as a person. If you're someone who is thinking and considering visibility, which is absolutely important in an age of attention, and you keep thinking about putting my content out there and creating a LinkedIn post and making a video and blah, 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 all of that is delaying the feedback you get from your audience, which will help you to improve the content, which will help you to make better content and get better feedback. And do you see where I'm going with this? The delayed decision making is delaying feedback, which is delaying improved decision making. What was that very famous quote by Ray Dalio? You can't learn from experiences if you don't make decisions. You can't learn from experiences if you don't make decisions. So make some decisions today and get a feedback and then improve the decisions later. Okay? Neuroscience has a good answer for it. When you overthink, your prefrontal cortex, which is your brain's logical center, goes into hyperdrive. I want you to imagine Tom and Jerry. And whenever Jerry does something to Tom starts running around in this helter-skelter way, just absolutely chaotic, utterly disorganized, overdrive, utterly confused, totally, one of my favorite words when I was younger, discombobulated. It's like when you run your laptop with 47 Chrome tabs open. Your laptop is so confused. That's how you are when you're overthinking. Your brain is trying to compute every single possible outcome, and so it does the exact opposite thing, which is freeze. It freezes. I'm joking, I'm not frozen. And then your amygdala interprets the overload as danger. I'm reading this from the neuroscience people, by the way. Your amygdala, I think I'm pronouncing that right, interprets the overload as danger, 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 danger. It triggers your stress hormones like cortisol, which is the bane of my existence, my enemy, cortisol. And of course, the result is that you have decision paralysis. Nobody likes that. Now, this might not sound too bad if you are a slow life, just chilling type of person. But at high stakes level, executives, parents, leaders, it's not the best. It's not cute, it's not sexy, it's not attractive, and it's not characteristic of a leader that anybody should follow. And if I were to simplify it in just one sentence, I'd say that you were trying to manage uncertainty by thinking harder instead of thinking smarter. So instead of just simplifying how you think, you are trying to just think harder. You know the scene in Friends where Phoebe's sitting down at the cafe? Rachel comes in, sits next to her, and Rachel starts talking and she says, "Excuse me, I'm focusing." And she says, "On what?" And she says, "I'm trying to move that pencil," by doing absolutely nothing but just thinking harder and focusing on the pencil. You know that scene? That's kind of like what you're doing. That's kind of like what you're doing. Except in Phoebe's case, Rachel moves the pencil for her and then she says, "Yay, I moved it." Now, unfortunately for you, no one's coming to save you. That's the unfortunate news for you. So there is no Rachel coming to save you. So why don't we learn how to think smarter? Jeff Bezos says most decisions should have been made with 70% of the decision you had. 70%. But you waited. You were looking for 100%. because you felt that you needed 100% of the data in order to be a better leader, a better decision maker. You don't. If Jeff Bezos said so, we're inclined to believe him. So, when you wait for perfect data, you delay progress. Something I found throughout my leadership, especially being the youngest leader in every organization I've worked in, much earlier in my career, I would doubt myself when it came to making decisions. Until I learned that waiting for perfect data delays progress. So oftentimes, when my team gave me an estimate of something, it was enough for me to move forward whilst we dug deeper to get accurate data. This is the thinking process that saved me. If it's reversible, move forward. If it isn't, okay, you can take some time to plan. So ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen if I am wrong? It is $1 million question, especially if you are a leader with high stakes. What is the worst that can happen if I am wrong? If the answer is recoverable, move forward, act, do something. Do something today. We call this decision speed governance. DSG, decision speed governance. It is clarity first, perfection later. We get a little bit of data. Even if it's an estimate, we move forward. We perfect the data, we perfect the project. Number 2, this is my system. 2-minute rule by David Allen. Getting things done. If something takes less than 2 minutes, decide now. Don't delegate it, don't delay. And as leaders, if you're in my position as a leader and an executive, when I say don't delegate it, you might not be happy with that. But oftentimes, if something takes less than 2 minutes or 2 minutes, do it yourself, because you can't count on the person who you delegated to doing it immediately. And if it takes 2 minutes, it should probably just get done ASAP. Do you know what this does for you? It clears your cognitive clutter and it preserves your brain power to make big calls. Because if you're a leader, you have big calls to make every day. Parkinson's law says that work expands to fill the time allocated for it. And, dare I say, it shrinks to fit into the time allocated for it. So, the rule of 2s, 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 days. If you get strict with yourself, you form a protocol and create a framework for your brain for thinking about things. And the more you do it consistently, your brain gets used to, this is how we do things around here. Your brain is like your child. Train your brain. 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 days. The TUPS grid is a question grid. You ask yourself 4 questions. This is how it should go. Number 1, is it reversible? Decide fast. Number 2, does this affect a system we already have? You can slow down and consult. Number 3, do I have 70% of the information? You should execute. Number 4, will waiting add value? If not, execute. 4 questions, 4 answers. You have a clear decision to make. If you can learn these 4 questions and their answers and what to do with their answers, it will help you to be disciplined instead of being a frantic leader. Remember, being frantic is not a characteristic that anybody wants in a leader, ever. The next time you're paralyzed by choice, I want you to remember that clarity is not found in your delay. It's found in making a decision, and that clarity compounds. If you had refused to move forward on your first day of work because you didn't fully understand what the role entails and what it is you'll be doing every single day, you wouldn't be where you are today. Remember that over time, in your current job, you have received clarity every single day on what you should be doing, shouldn't be doing, how you should be doing it, how you shouldn't be doing it. But you only received all of that feedback by doing what? Starting. So, this is how you think fast. Now, what is the place of thinking slow? That's also important, and we will discuss that on another day. But that's why you're here at the Ultimate Problem Solvers podcast, to learn how to make quicker decisions in order to be a better problem solver. So comment, subscribe, and share this with someone who likes to delay when it comes to decision making. Hey, I didn't say that, you did by sending it to them. Anyways, I'll see you again next week, my darling. Until then, goodbye.